I feel like I don't deserve to be at this table yet.
Honest, that's probably the whole panel.
I could go from 0 to 100 and be like, all right, you're done.
Chris and Sean descend from
Exactly.
the rafters. We're here to rescue this panel.
You're watching convention coverage.
What's your favorite fight from the series that you were involved with?
Mine's easy, because Cell. I think that's just everybody's favorite Gohan fight, and it is mine as well.
Let's see.
How many fights has Zeno been a part of?
Well, he's only been a part of the tournament ones, I believe.
You can't. I mean, you defeated Zamasu.
It's true. that was, you know what?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, ew, this is nasty. Did you do this?
Boop,
and he was
gone.
like, no. I'm like, okay, yeah. That should probably go. My favorite part is just, he's just like, Goku goes back and finds him. He's just like,
He's just floating in like space. It's weird.
It's like, maybe I made a mistake. I don't know yet.
For me, I feel like. I mean, I have some cool ones because I got to fight Vegeta, obviously. But I also really like the fight in the Tournament of Power at the end where Kappa goes Super Saiyan 2 for the first time. That's a cool one. Also, in Xenoverse, I fight Broly at one point. Like,
Yes.
just like,
Yes.
it's like, what the heck? Like, what is this guy? He's huge. So I mean, those are pretty cool. They're all fun.
I don't know if I have a favorite fight. What's your favorite fight?
I loved Gogeta versus Broly. That was like, just as like a little tangent here, and when I saw it in the big IMAX theater, it just felt like like an earthquake was going on the whole time. It was like the theater was shaking, the audience was like, yeah! You only get that energy from like a Marvel movie, but this was huge.
The last, couple films of the animation has just been really brilliant and really pretty to watch. So I think all of the fights have been pretty awesome.
Specifically in the
Across
movies,
the
they're
board.
really awesome. Yeah. And I think Broly is such a cool character.
Broly is a very cool character. I feel, honestly, for me, I feel like I don't deserve to be at this table yet,
No, you deserve it.
You kind of have to earn the seat, and I'm still working my way there. Or at least for me, internally, I'm still trying to work my...
I'll be honest, that's probably the whole panel.
Right.
We need Chris.
Yeah, no, totally.
Chris and Sean descend from the rafters. We're here to rescue this panel.
Wait, so is Broly, is that supposed to be like broccoli?
Yes.
That's cute. Like, wait a minute.
I know my foods.
My favorite one.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for answering.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is if your Dragon Ball characters had to meet another anime character that you've voiced, who would it be and what would they do?
Got it.
Oh, I don't know yet. You go for it.
Luffy. Gohan and Luffy would totally hang out, and Goku and Luffy would totally hang out. There would be a lot of fighting, but like for fun. It would be a whole lot of training, a whole lot of eating, and then a whole lot more training. And then some villain would show up, and it would immediately, they would just destroy it. Yes, so that's easy.
Sarah, who would Zeno hang out with?
I'm trying to think between, I almost want to say Alice Ramis from Devil's a Part-Timer, just because she also floats and she's a child and likes to play.
And just like play.
And she's also kind of powerful too. Not as powerful though, but yeah. I think that's probably my best answer.
Honestly, Xemnos and Power would probably get a role.
I don't know about that. I think he would be quickly annoyed with her and think she's disgusting and then just erase her.
I mean, the easy answer is if Kappa crossed paths with Bakugo. Which would be fun because at least their voices are different, so it'd be like funny to play that. But like, I just imagine because Kappa's such a straight shooter, and Bakugo wants to be the the most violent hero. That like I feel like Cabba would just be like, "You think this is heroic?" Like, "Yeah, I'm doing great," you know. Like, but it just would be funny to see the juxtaposition of their attitudes, I guess.
Probably Broly and Ichigo's Vasto Lord. I feel like because all they do is scream, and things start going crazy and there's a lot of explosions and things, dirt flying in the air. That's, I'd like to see that.
That movie would suck for you.
It would. That would be the end of my life.
In the entire Dragon Ball series, what do you guys think is the most threatening or like, interesting villain?
In my opinion, it's Cell. Cell is the culmination of everything that I think Dragon Ball had been prior to him. Because he's literally a composition of everybody, right? He's got the DNA of all the characters, and he's a really interesting character because he wants to prove that he's the best and be challenged, but he doesn't want the same sort of challenge that Goku wants. Like, Goku wants to fight somebody to see how he stacks up, to see how much further he can go and get better. Cell wants to fight everybody else to prove no one can beat him. You know what I mean? And it's kind of he wants to be challenged, but he doesn't want to lose. And so Cell just kind of thematically is the culmination of everything that Dragon Ball had been up to that point. And then for him to be defeated by Gohan, spoilers if you haven't seen it,
20 years ago.
But to be defeated by Gohan is the pupil of both Goku and Piccolo, who are the first true rivals of the entire series. Goku didn't have a rival truly in Dragon Ball until Piccolo. And so for Gohan to kind of become the savior in that moment, it just feels like that fight stands in my mind as the most epic. Like it sort of resonates the most narratively for me. Anyway.
I think that is probably the most technically accurate answer. Like that is what we should say. But Frieza freaks me out more.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say Frieza just because I feel like that character freaks me out.
And he keeps coming back.
Keeps coming back. Like every new form, and like it makes you feel like there's always gonna be a next thing. And also just freaky. Voice, the design, all of it.
Wait, I totally forgot. What was the question? Was it about?
Who's the toughest villain? Who's the scariest villain?
Oh.
Yeah.
I see. Oh yeah, Cell scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. When he opened up his tail and started consuming people, I was like, I had nightmares. I was like 4. And I knew I shouldn't have been watching it too, because like I was hiding behind a couch while my brother was watching it, and I was like, oh no, why did I do this? No, that was gross.
I would just defer to their answers.
Broly could have been at one point, like before. Yeah.
But Boo is scary
First
too.
movie.
Yeah, there's nothing scarier than somebody who does not know what's happening and is too powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. And Sarah, I'm just going to say this. Nobody get mad at me. I know 10 characters off the top of my head that could beat Zeno.
Come back here.
Name one.
I'll say one real quick. It's from a visual novel. His name is Reinhard. He's very overpowered.
Reinhard with a name like that.
He has a cool spear.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Meet me back here.
Favorite episode of the franchise?
Oh, come on.
Ow.
I couldn't think of anything else. I panicked. I'm sorry.
You had all this time to come up with a question.
No.
I even stalled you.
Yeah.
My favorite episode, if I'm gonna turn on just a random episode, it's when Gohan kills Cell. Like it is.
I hear that all the time. Like
so
that's
good.
that's
It's
the
such a
thing,
good one.
the formative thing for people who watched it growing up. It's like that moment. But I'm gonna say, just for me personally, and it's not a popular answer, but not an episode, but a section. I really liked the future stuff in Super. I liked that whole story with Future Trunks, and I would love to explore that more.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed. But I really liked the episode where Goku was laying on top of Bulma and was scared because her balls were gone.
Oh boy.
Admittedly. That drives me up the wall every
That's like
time.
episode 3?
Did we put an age limit on this panel?
It's Dragon Ball. You can't.
Her Dragon Balls were gone and he was scared.
That's Johnny's favorite now.
Yeah, episode 42. I don't know.
Well, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Since some of you clearly grew up with the original Dragon Ball, or at least Dragon Ball Z's airing in the 90s, how crazy has it been to just look at the series, think, oh, they're not going to make any more, and then to see it suddenly come back with a vengeance with whole new series, whole new anime, multiple new movies, and just become this gigantic phenomenon again?
Right? I mean, and you really do stop making assumptions because of things like that. When I got to Funimation, I thought Dragon Ball was over. Like, I thought that I had missed the boat on that big thing, and so I was just trying to fit into the next things that were coming up. And then when Dragon Ball Z Kai came around and they were looking for auditions for characters that had been in the previous series, it was just incredible to get a chance to be in a show that I thought I had missed the boat on. And then the fact that after that, you're right, it just had this whole other re-life was amazing. And so, I feel like so amazing for fans to get to share that with multiple generations, because now you're seeing people who are bringing in their kids who their first experience with it was Kai, and then the next set of fans that are growing up who their first experience with it is Super. And I think that's just so cool. It's wonderful when it can transcend so many different generations.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hope you have a great con.
Thank you.
That your ability to make Kushieda in the show simultaneously so innocent yet so scary is a feat in of itself. But considering Zeno is your first role within the Dragon Ball series, how did it feel knowing you'd be voicing one of the most powerful characters in the DB universe?
I was confused and shocked because honestly, like I was in the same boat with Colleen. I thought that Funimation was done with Dragon Ball, but then we got all the auditions coming in. I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, oh God, I lost my train of thought. Okay. It was wild, and I couldn't understand that this small child was capable of such things. But yeah, it was really cool. I'm like, okay, cool. So I get to be the strongest character.
Yeah.
That feels pretty hot.
Like, do you literally just blink and the universe disappears? Like, it's kind of crazy. Like,
It's just like, you're done.
literally.
Have you just built a career on being innocent seeming while terrifying?
You know, on paper, it does seem like that.
Yeah. I didn't know about your Classroom of the Elite character, but like Zeno and Power, like that feels like.
Well, she's not very innocent, though.
No, but she looks
kinda
sweet.
Yeah, there's a few characters that come off as being very sweet, but are actually jerks that I've done. You know, the first time you do it, and the second time it happens, like that's a coincidence, and then the third time is a pattern. I swear I'm not that mean.
No, but just thank you guys so much. And yeah, just thank you for your input. I freaking love all you guys. And I just hope you guys have a great rest of your day, for real.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. And my question was specifically for Colleen. Was there anything you took from Stephanie's work as Gohan while taking on this already huge character that was Gohan?
You guys are so sweet. All of your comments are so, we'll take them all to heart. It was very kind. For Gohan, we definitely had the feeling when we started up Kai of restarting the series the way Kai was intended to be. It was cutting out all of the filler and redoing the series. And I think we had the benefit of knowing where the story was going so that we knew to start Gohan very young and leave him room to grow And they didn't have that when they first started the original series. They didn't know where it was headed. So I appreciate that I got the foresight, the hindsight, whichever one of it is, that I knew to start him younger, and that's where Chris had me start, so that we could give him room to gain power and breadth, so that you felt like he earned it when he got to Cell, you know? So I guess I wasn't taking Stephanie's voice so much into account and trying to emulate her as I was just grateful that she had already gone through that journey and I got the benefit of knowing what that journey was. But we weren't trying to voice match at all, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. All right then, thank you for the question.
A lot of people, they'll have to like connect with their character in order to play them properly. So what is something that you see in the character you play that you see in yourself?
I
Sarah's
do am
a
a child at
child.
heart. Yes.
Typecast.
Yeah.
Adorable, will in the world.
Thank you. And I do snap. I can go from 0 to 100 and be like, all right, you're done.
I have seen her blip people out of existence.
Firsthand.
You should have seen the audition.
It just made me forget the question.
What do you see in yourself that you see in your character? And you have multiple characters.
Yeah, which one? I'm definitely most like future Mai.
How about Gohan?
I don't know that that we have a ton in common. I have more in common with current day Gohan than the Gohan that you like.
No, I like both of them.
I like the studious path. I actually really admire the fact that he decided to take this legacy that was handed down to him and say, no, thank you, I actually have other plans. And they're peaceful. I think that's actually really fantastic. I don't know that it makes for what you're looking for, but I think it's awesome. And so I guess that, although I would refute the idea that you have to find yourself in your character in order to play the character.
Yeah.
I was about to say, it's like
I think you have to understand the character, but I don't know that, like, I am nothing like Luffy.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Because that would be kind of mean to say, because like there's all kinds of different actors. Imagine the people who are in like the really like villainous type positions, or who would do like things that they would never do in real life, and that's like, how do you relate to that person? And you're like,
I try not to.
I don't want.
Sometimes you can with a villain, but
Sure, yeah.
It's kind of funny. Last night we were having dinner. We were talking about D&D alignments, you know, and we were discussing like where we all think we fall on the chart. And I tend to believe that I'm lawful good. And that's actually kind of what I see in Kaba too, is that Kaba, like when Kaba finds out about like the space pirate thing with Frost, or that the Saiyans of Universe 7 were like, you know, violent and would go and like destroy everything on a planet to take over the planet and whatever. He's like, what? No, I would never do that. You know, like, and that's probably the part that I relate to him the most, is that Kaba follows the good path, and that's where I kind of see myself too. I would not get
Lies. He's bad.
I see. I'm a martial artist, but there's, you know, earlier on when I was studying martial arts, and I got to a point where I was good and I understood, you know, or I felt like I was a decent martial artist. And when I was younger, I got picked on a lot, and so I was quiet and shy and just got beat up. But there was a point when, like in high school, when I gained a lot of confidence, not enough discipline. And I started fights like all the time, everywhere. And so I see an older, you know, young, arrogant, naive version of me in there a little bit. And so, not that I draw on that, but I'm like, I guess if I compare, I'm like, yeah, it'd be somewhere in there. You know?
Yeah.
You know, and everything's, you lose your emotions a lot quicker, you know. You're not in control of yourself as well. So I definitely could see that.
chaotic.
Yeah, very, very chaotic, yeah.
What's your D&D alignment?
What's that?
What's your D&D alignment?
Neutral good.
Yeah.
It's like Jonah Yong Bash.
Thank you.
Basic.
So what are some of the differences between recording for a video game versus recording for a television show?
Good question. You direct.
Okay.
Video game.
You want me? The big difference is that we don't have really explanations as to what is happening in the game. When we're dubbing the anime, we see the footage, we see the scene, we see our lines, we can see the other characters' lines around it. But a lot of the times when we're dubbing games, you won't even have the other characters' lines in the script, you know? And for an example, Xenoverse was the first time that I voiced Kaba, and there was no explanation to what any line was related to or what was happening in the scene. Like, I could see the other characters, I could see like Vegeta's lines and stuff like that when I was in a scene with him. But like, I had no explanation. There were just there might have been a broad note of like, Kaba turned Super Saiyan. You know, like, oh, cool. You know, like, but that's it. I don't really know how the fight is going or anything like that. And so the biggest thing for me is information. There is a lot less information when we're dubbing the games that is present and kind of a lot of guesswork. I actually just recently was looking at footage from the recent piece of DLC that I came back in. Kaba showed up again. And I remember recording for it, and I remember thinking it was pretty cool because it's crossing over with Dragon Ball GT version of Vegeta. And I was like, oh, that's a really interesting thing to explore. And I heard some of the dialogue, and I'm like really, really panicked. And I'm like, we gotta stop him! He only just got here! Da-da-da-da-da! And then the next line, I'm like, go through the portal, so that I was like completely in a different element of heightened energy.
Oh no.
Because from the way the game script presented it, it looked like they were two completely different moments, and they were actually like right next to each other. And so I was like, well, that sucks. I wish I had known that, you know, but like, I can't do anything about it. Like,
Did they have it to where at some point, I don't know if they did it beforehand, but did they have you listen to the reference and try to fit within the soundbite?
Yeah, that's the other thing. You want to do that?
Oh, well, I don't know if they've been doing it before.
They still do it.
Is it recent? Okay. They also, they give you a reference of the Japanese dialogue, and your goal is to do something kind of similar to that, and also as fast as they are doing it, or slow, whatever, like trying to
within
fit
a second of their amount of time.
Yeah, like you have to get really close to being the same time frame, and that's all that we have is the script, and then just following that.
yeah, and so you'll hear like the Japanese reference real quick. So if it's an attack name, right, you'd hear like Kianzan, and then you have to go Destructo Disc like as fast as you can within that little bit of time that they said Kianzan. And then there's all sorts of things to it. Like if we're doing cutscenes, the cutscenes aren't. You still have to match the time, but the script we have is almost more just the translation than adapted lines. Like when we're dubbing anime, the lines are adapted to be like, this is gonna fit these flaps and match the timing and like whatever. And a lot of times we're just given like, this is exactly what they said. And so then we are trying to find natural ways to pause in the middle of a sentence that's not meant to be paused to try and parse out our line to match the Japanese audio so that hopefully it might look okay in a cutscene.
Which, isn't it interesting that we're not like trying to make flaps the main problem in the games?
Yeah.
'Cause, like I'll see like our dialogue going really fast, but the mouths are like
Yeah,
still another
slow.
6 to go.
Yeah, it's great. It's a really crazy process. The games are completely different.
And this is, by the way, completely specific to dubbing a game.
Dubbing a game.
Yeah.
If actual video games that you would record that are not dubs would not feel anything like this.
Yeah.
So, in the specific instance of dubbing these characters in their games, typically our games don't have all that stuff. So, yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What would be your most challenging past roles that you would love to reprise?
I loved Yuko from Holic. And I would love to get to do the rest of that. And for whatever reason, it just hasn't crossed over. So I would love to do the rest of Holic. That would be fantastic. That was just such a beautiful show. I love Clamp in general, and it's such a beautiful show. And she was like the character of mine that I would most like to be, like if I could be any of my characters. So I would like to get another whack at her.
I feel like there's quite a few. I've been fortunate to be able to get back into Ichigo and doing that again. Vash would be awesome. Lelouch would be cool. I heard Blue Exorcist is getting a 3rd season, so that'd be great to come back as Yukio. So I mean, just kind of really across the board. There's so many of them that I would just absolutely, when you work on some of those shows that they have so many episodes, you really kind of grow attached, or I do. I grow attached to the character, and I just like exploring how far they go, and it's just kind of really fun to just be a part of those worlds for a little bit, to escape whatever's going on in this world. You get to go be, this whoever, and you get to be cool for a little bit of time. So yeah, just across the board, there's so many of them.
I like that question was for us because we're old.
Right, yeah. It's like, you guys.
You guys.
Right.
We'll ask you this question in 10 years.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
You guys can be at every panel.
That's right. You guys are welcome.
You are welcome at our table at any point.
Incredible.